Now then, how you doing? Okay, so it's been a while since I've done a video. My camera's up there. Keep thinking it's down there. My camera's up there. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I've undertaken the Trumpeter 1 in 32 tram A6-E, A6E/tram. I don't know whether to do the video in two builds, in two videos, or do it in one because it's just so intense, but enjoyable intense. Okay. And whether to go through all the instructions as people normally do, or do it my way, whichever way. And I've come to the conclusion that I've got to marry up the instruction book with the pictures that I've taken, over 150, of a outer sequence build sequence, in a way that you can kind of see where I was going, what I've done, and actually how it ends up. All right. Before we carry on, there are so many options with this kit on doors, wings, canopy open, nose open, etc., etc. The way that I've built it, when you see the final product, you will be instantly thinking, pass me my pen of rage, because you don't have one wing up, you don't have ordnance on with this, you don't do that, you don't. I know all that. Okay, the reason that I've specifically built this kit this way is so that if you've got it in your stash, or you've got it on your radar, and you think, I fancy a bit of that, the one of the first things that you do is you turn to YouTube and you type it in, don't you? Trumpeter 1 in 32, A6-E tram. All the videos come up. Doug's done it, and somebody else has done it. Blah blah blah. And you watch all the videos, and you try to formulate in your own head whether you want to go wings up, wings down, etc., etc. The nose, the doors underneath, weapons on, weapons off, etc., etc. So the way that I've built it, and I'm very, very satisfied with what I've done, is I've tried to do a little bit of everything, if you will, so that if you're going to build it, you can use the video as reference to say, I saw that video, Mark built it with a wing up, and yes, I fancy a bit of that. I fancy both wings up. How hard is it to make that happen? I want both wings down. How much of a is it to put both wings? Are they strong enough? What's the fuselage fit like, etc., etc., etc. So before you start raging, I know it's wrong in its configuration, but it's the configuration that I wanted to do. Okay. As far as skimming through the instructions are concerned, you obviously can't see. I've not got my down camera on. I don't think I'm gonna go through it, right? Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, that's boring as shit. That's boring as shit. So let's start with what I did, and the kit number, by the way, is 02250, because there are a few variants of this kit. So it's Trumpeter item number 02250. Okay, let's get that put to bed, just in case you're looking. Now, what I did was I looked through all my photos, and I've got a list here in the light, and I've broken it down into instructions. There's 24 pictures of that. Weapons, there's 13 pictures of that. The avionics bay, the engine, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I've got to try to sort of like piece together the build that I did, to overlay the instructions and the photos at the same time as I was building it and going along, and narrate it and explain why I did it in that particular sequence, in that particular way, etc., etc. So if you're just like a regular guy, regular builder like me, and you think, oh, what, it says page 1 starts on engines. Well, the engines are that good. I actually want to save that for a little bit later on. I want to whet your appetite, if you will. Okay. So I started with the weapons, which I know is on page 22. So I know it's going to be out of sequence for a lot of you, right? But I'm a backwards builder. The reason that I'm a backwards builder is because I found it back in the day very frustrating that I would build the aircraft, prime it, paint it, literally finish it, and then go, right, what have I got left? I've got so many weapons left to do, and it'd be sat there, finished, waiting for me to then do the weapons and then attach them on. And obviously, one at kits back in the day, I just thought, do you know what? If I build the weapons first, prime, painted, deckled, weathered the whole lot, put them into a plastic tub, out of way, then when I crack on with build, once it's done, weapons are done, I can just go clip, 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 jobs are done. However, what I actually end up doing now, it's quite funny, is I will do the weapons first. That's a given, backwards builder. But then, once the weapons are done, I'll come back through book and I'll say, right, so on this particular kit, it's engines. Well, that's a sub-assembly. So I can build the engines, prime them, paint them, get them all finished and put them in my tub as well. I don't even touch the office at this particular stage, this stage. Then there's an avionics bay, built all that into my tub. Undercarriage, built all that. I went out and bought some metal etch primer. Cheers, Paul. Built all that. That's plastic to metal, so it's super glue. Primed it, painted it, blah, blah, blah. Done, back in my tub. Then you've got your speed brake housing, same. All the internal structure in the fuselage, same. Built them all up, primed it all, got it all painted, sorted. Then it was all about deciding which wing I was going to have up and down and blah, blah, blah. So I built all the wing section, put them to one side. Don't forget, still haven't started office yet. All the undercarriage doors, all the engine bay doors, all finished off into tub. Rudder into tub, wings again into tub. Canopy masked off, ready for painting into tub. So you can see where I'm going. The radar at the bottom there that actually makes it into a tram from an A6-E, built, prime, painted, job done, all done. Ladder, all glued together, pipe done, and I still haven't touched the office. And then on page 32 on this particular kit, you're literally getting ready to put those last bits on. So come sort of like 2 weeks into it, I've got a tub full of bits and I still haven't started the office. Then I did. I actually got the Quinter set from Sean at SGS Models. If I can remember, I will put the link in the description. The Quinter set comes in a couple of parts. It's that stuff that you have to sand off all your existing detail and then stick it on with a bit of white glue, UPVA. All went down a treat. So once I'd done the office then, and I'd painted the inside of the fuselage where it all goes, then it's like, right, go. Office in, all the other gubbins in, button it up, sand that seam down, stick the paint it, primed all that body, primed it, painted it, kept test fitting the wings to make sure that they went in. Once all that were primed and painted, right, here we go. Wings on, half an hour later, done. Rear wings on, done. Rudder done, all done. Weapons were already done. So before I started attaching any of the bits, then it's glossing it, deckling it. Don't forget, I've already glossed and deckled the wings, all done to a done state. It's literally just concentrating on the body because the wing fit was so good. Primed, painted, glossed, deckled, glossed again, and then literally just in the last couple of days, because everything was done in a sub-assembly state, it's literally just a matter of sitting here and sticking things onto it, and it's finished. That doesn't work for everybody, and I get that. People do like to start in office and they'll build all that up and they'll follow the instructions letter by letter. and they will build it up in the sequence that it's supposed to be. But I get so carried away with building sub-assemblies that that's the way that I build. And I know it's a bit strange. I know it's a bit daft. However, it works for me. So let's have a look. We're going to start. So that's why I'm a backwards builder. Okay, so I am actually going to start with the weapons. What the sequence that I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the instructions up, a couple of pages. I'm going to blank my screen and start putting instructions up. And then add the photos. Then I'm going to add the photos, okay, on top, and hopefully it'll all marry in. It'll all marry in. So let me just have a look here. How can I do this now? The instruction bit, page 22. Let's start there. So on page 22, I've already added it up. There's obviously an absolute ton of hanging stuff that you can put on this aircraft. And in total, including the fuel tanks, I think I counted it up at 41. There's 41 hanging, swinging, dangly bits that you can put on pylons underneath this aircraft. Now, it obviously don't carry all 41. So before you start building it, you've got to say, where's my decals? Am I using in-house decals or am I buying a special pack? What scheme am I going for? And which, has it been in conflict? What, in desert war? You know, etc., etc. And what configuration am I going for? And again, I went for a configuration that was pleasing to the eye for me, but also had a little bit of the Iraqi war kind of significance. So I watched a video, intriguing video showing when the A6s went in. I think it was first Gulf War, and what they were armed with, and the reason why they were armed with that ordnance. So the way that I've built my tram is it's got 2 anti-radiation missiles on it, which were used to take out the radar installations. And then it's got some Mark 88s on it that were used to absolute cluster bomb the surrounding areas. That's why I've gone for that particular configuration. So page 32 and 33, sorry, 22 and 23, that's all your options. Now, I didn't go with fuel tanks. I went with weapons. On my outer pylons, on page 24, if I can find a picture of that, it does show you which pylon would carry which particular piece of ordnance. So on pylon number 1, which is the passenger side outer, I went with the, I think it was the AGM-88s, I'm pretty sure. On pylon 2, I went with the harm, I think. On the centre pylon, I went with the Mark 80, I thought it was the Mark 82s. And then obviously I've repeated it for the other side, followed by a harm, followed by a GBU. Okay. And the photos that I've got, I'm going to see if I can keep them into some kind of sequence. Nightmare. So on the other side of my piece of paper, I think let's start with the harms. Okay. So what you should be able to see, if I get this right, because they might not be in any particular order. We've got harm finished, which is all white and deckled up, because I don't think I had any problems with that. The harm painted along with the GBU. And I think that just about covers that, because that's literally a dead easy piece of equipment to put together. The GBUs, again, dead easy to put together, but you can see, hopefully on this picture, I've got a little bit of filler, because it did need just a bit, but that will more me than the kit. The GBU that's half done, I'm pretty sure that I took a picture of that. And I think that was just about it for that. The pylons, built, sanded, primed, pre-shaded in a light grey, and then painted over with the actual belly colour. So that they were no problem. And the fit to the wing is absolutely 10 out of 10. So instead of it being like a tiny little tiny little pin that you're trying to locate into a hole, the massive, the superb. Okay. And then we're on to the Mark 88s, I do believe. So that's primed and pre-shaded. Once I'd built it and primed it and pre-shaded, I went over the pre-shaded grey with the green. So you should be able to see that. Then I painted all the front end yellow, because that's how I do my yellow band. I don't use a decal because they're always shit. And I don't use masking tape because it's hard to configure around a cone shape. So I use a seal, an O-ring. So I'll paint it all yellow, that front end, let it dry, roll the O-ring over the top, and then paint it green. Once that's dry and I take the O-ring off, I've got like a diffused yellow ring around it. So it's not hard lined, it's quite soft lined, but I do like that. Okay. Fully painted them with band on. Weapons and pylons completely finished, and I've missed one out. It's weapons at decal stage. Okay, and I'm going to tick that off my list. So that were my weapon lot of choice. Back to me. That were my weapon lot of choice. So it's the 2 GBUs on the outside, 2 harms on the inner, a rack full of bombs underneath, and that'll just about do. Okay, so that covers weapons and pylons, right? Yes, and I got them all out of the way. Then I went on to the avionics bay. So I need to find a picture of the instructions on the avionics bay, and I also need to see if I can find it here on my book as well. So page 5, the avionics bay. It's a very, very simple affair. It does sling underneath the back end of the belly fuselage. It just sort of slings under there on 4 stems. Predominantly it's white. There are some attachments that go onto the plate that you have to paint black. So obviously I painted those black separately. I painted all the rest of the avionics back plates. There's 3 of them. Or is there 2? There's 2. No, one, 2. There's 2. Painted those white. Obviously waited while they dried before I attached on the black boxes that go on. Then you put your sides on and your back plate on and that bit of a rung at the front. Then you put the actual fuselage door on. No drama with that. I added a few ad hoc decals just to sort of tart it up a little bit. But as far as, I'm going to tick weapons, as far as the avionics bay is concerned, I think I've only got 3 photos of that. Drama, 0, absolutely none whatsoever. The fit, you have got to be careful with the fit because it's best that you fit it in towards the end of the build once it's all done. Okay. But like I said, I built it, put it in my bits tub, done, completed, ready to attach. That was classed to me as a sub-assembly. Once I'd done that, then I looked at the nose because I wanted the radar and the nose I wanted to get that out of the way. So I think it's page, I'm not far off actually. Excuse me. I've had a terrible time of it lately. So the radar and the nose, well, the radar itself, page 9, step 18. Radar, I've only got 2 pictures of that. It's a dead simple put together, dead simple. There's a little bit of photo etch on it. There's not much. It predominantly white insignia, white insignia, bit of dark gold grey in there, bit of black in there, except but it's note that you can't do, and it just absolutely falls together. So there's no issue at all with the radar. As far as the fit is concerned, 10 out of 10. That's twice I've said that. Okay. And again, when I'm flicking through book and it's been cold in shed, and I'm thinking, what else can I sub-assembly? What else can I sub-assembly? So next thing that I sub-assembled was the arrestor hook. See if I can find that. So I've got 4 pictures. It looks like I've written down there 4 pictures of the arrestor hook. Now I did want to tart it up a little bit. There it is, page 9 again. It's basically 2 stems, a bit of a brace, a locking mechanism, and it fits inside a housing. Dead simple. Dead simple. No problem with that at all. Okay. So as far as the sub-assembly is concerned, you can knock that off. Dead simple. I opted for having the nose in the open position, which is really far down at the back of the book. That's on page 17. The nose didn't really cause me any issues. The attachment that you get to fit it to the actual aircraft is thick and chunky. It locates well. It's easy if you're having the nose open. Okay. Now, I didn't put any weight in the nose, but I did paint inside of it like cockpit green, you know, the interior green, like the zinc chromate colour. Just so that it weren't bare plastic. I've seen videos where people have put the nose on actual fit to the fuselage, and I've seen them. I'm certainly not going to slag them off. One or 2 of them found it a little bit challenging, a bit gappy. Obviously, because I've got mine open, I didn't have that. However, before I put the attachment on, I did slide it onto the body itself, and mine seemed to be okay. So as far as the nose is concerned, shouldn't really give you any problems at all. Okay, time we're on, 23 minutes. Then the air brakes, speed brakes, they are down the side of the fuselage. And on reference photos, I'm hoping I've still got them on my phone. On reference photos, it showed them really discoloured. And it doesn't take a genius to work out that the speed brakes that are there are sat directly behind the exhaust on this aircraft. So every time they open up, they're just going to get blasted with soot and shit. I'm surprised they didn't chuff and melt. So in the end, I do believe that they were made redundant, and they integrated speed brakes onto the end of the wings in that sort of opening position to get rid of that. As far as real life is concerned, those speed brakes down the side of the fuselage should be closed in. But because you actually put them onto a bit of a housing, which is now on page, bear with me, which is now on page 8, you can see that there's a right speed brake bay. So obviously there's a left one, and there is some nice detail in there. So I didn't want to detail it all up and then just put them 2 doors on. So I actually looked on Google references. I found that there were quite a few of them that had got holes in these speed brake doors. And instead of opening mine in the normal sort of that configuration, I actually, as they come down like that, I actually opened mine in that configuration. So the sort of the concave that way. Hopefully the pictures that I either show now or later on will show that. That's the speed brakes. I'm saving all the tasty stuff for a little bit later. Let's just have a look here. So I want to save that. I want to save that. Save that. Let's do intakes. Let's do intakes. So again, on page 8, I'm looking here because you can see my instructions. On page 8, instructions: right air intake, left air intake. And I know that there's a seamless resin one that you can buy that'll just go in, etc., etc. Listen, fill your boots, obviously. If you want to be, I want to say, perfectionist and elitist, you're well within your rights to do that, right? If you want to be the best that it can possibly be, that's what you do. From the chair that I sit in when I'm modeling, that's not what I'm about. I would rather tackle a bit of an issue so that I said to myself, well, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Once you put those intakes together, which is 1, 2, 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3. Is there a seam at the top and the bottom? Yes, there is. A little bit of perfect plastic putty that I put in, only a right little bit, and then get it one of them with wet finger. And obviously it had sunk in a little bit, but I let it dry. It's not a problem. Let it dry overnight. Get a sanding sponge, and I just literally put my finger down the hole and right, I do it again. I do it again. Now, it took me 3 sessions to do that. I'm not going to say it took me 3 days, because it didn't, because while I was still doing them, I was still cracking on with something else. It took 3 application, drying and sanding sessions to get that right. Is it right? It's not 10 out of 10. It's not. That's it. Don't get any better. But it's a solid 9.9. Okay. When you look down the air intake, can you see that seam at the top and the bottom? In certain angles of light, you can. In certain angles of light, you can't. Is it good enough for me? I'm not saying that I'm going to jump into bed with the It'll Do crew, because It'll Do never does it for me. So it's got to be better than It'll Do, and it is better. Okay. Should be 5 pictures with the intakes. Let's get that ticked off. Let's move on to, there's a divider that goes, I might as well cover that now. There's a divider, again, on page 9, and it's in the middle of the fuselage halves that go together. It's a solid piece. What's the fit like? Perfect. Paint it before you put it in? Yes, for sure. Any holes to drill out? I do believe that there are. What's it like for alignment? Absolutely 10 out of 10. No problem whatsoever. Does it do a job? Yes, it does. The center spar allows the engines to clip in at either side. And again, I've got pictures of that. So hopefully you will see that. Okay, so that's the divider. I can't even remember if I took any pictures of the ladder, but I've got it written down here. And I think I'd run out of patience by the time I was writing numbers down. I'm just really trying to think whether I took any pics, and I can't remember. What I will say is the ladder that is on page is a simple, straightforward, pain in the ass affair. It's the door that's made out of plastic on the sprue, and then everything else that attaches to it is photo etch. And the photo etch, as you know, is so, it's not your mate, basically, is it? Photo etch, as much as we love it for its enhanced visual stimulus on what you're creating, it's not our best mate. And you have to be really careful when you're cutting it off the sprue, when you're sanding it with a metal file, when you're trying to attach it on with a little bit of super glue. Luckily, I had some accelerator left, and I've got an old airbrush needle, so I'm literally dabbing the needle into the glue, tiny little spot. Attaching the photo etch, it doesn't sit right because you know as well as I do, on a dry fit, oh yeah, sweet as a gem. Same with pylons, dry fit, clip, you could literally do that on a pylon onto wing without any glue, and it just sort of like it magnetizes itself into holes. You show that a little bit of glue and you're like that, or is it just me? And it was same with ladder. But managed to get it done and it were all okay. Okay, so I can tick that off. How long? 30 minutes. Your next one is the doors. So the doors that all fit underneath that cover the engines up, you can see from the photos that I'm putting on now that I had engines out, and I'm just deciding whether I'm going to show you the actual picture of the finished engine so that you can say, Jesus Christ, yeah, I think I'd have engines out and all, mate, because they are absolutely superb. I need to find my chuffing doors, don't I? You watch it be right down back of there. It is. Page 19, doors. There's some attachments to go on, piece of piss. As long as you don't mix up your port and your starboard side, but there are cutouts on that door, on those doors, that make it literally impossible to put them on wrong. Does that make sense? There's some brace arms as well. They fit in really nice. There's two doors. There's a V15 and a V2. Okay, and again, I'll see if I can find instruction and put that up and highlight that. And then there's two panels down at the back, which is V30 and V18. They're not supposed to be open, but I have opened mine. I've made a hypothetical hinging system where I've allowed them to open. I must stress at this particular point, if you're going to say, I'm having a bit of that, if you put anything onto your center pylon area, all that door configuration does become a little bit of a challenge. You know, if you're 14 and you're spunking glue all over, you've no chance. If you're a little bit older with a little bit of patience and you are methodically working things out, hang on a minute, if I put that on now, I'm not going to be able to get engine in. Right, well, it's engine in first then, isn't it? Yeah, but if I put the engine in now, I'm not going to be able to get that back cowling on. Right, well, and you have to work it out, okay? But as far as the doors are concerned, a number of little attachments, they all fit on, all really nice, all got primed, painted, deckled, glossed, weathered, blah, all put in my bit spin. So that were no problem at all. Okay. That's your doors underneath. And I still haven't started office yet. Let's go to the wings. And it says here I've only got 6 photographs of the wings. Let's find the wings. So when you are going to build the wings, the build up the same, right? You start on page 13, unlucky for some. There is obviously the left wing and the right wing. But there are so many different configurations on the wings that you literally do have to, I know it sounds stupid, but you have to know what you're doing. The inner wing section comes with optional flaps down. The outer wing section, because it's 2 halves, the outer wing section also comes with optional flaps down. I'm thinking about it in the back of my head. But both the inner section and the outer section come with optional flaps down, slats out configuration. But you need to know if you're gonna have the wings up like that, then all those flaps and slats are going to be retracted. They're all going to be in. But because I did one wing out, that was full flaps and slats in the I'm out position, and that was predominantly to show that red band because it just looks so striking. Whereas the wing that is in that position, it's in the folded position, you have to think on, you need the right tabs, you need the right parts to make sure that everything's retracted. So what I will say with the wings, 6 photographs it says here, what I will say with the wings is decide on what you want to do and stick to it. Build them accordingly. I'm not saying it gets confusing, but there's just a lot of information contained within these 2-3 pages all about wings, because you can't change your mind halfway through. If you're having both wings up, you need everything retracted. So if you've built the wings with everything out, it's going to look a right daft thing. Try not to swear on my videos. It's going to look really, really daft in the out position. Moreover, if you're having the wings in the fully out flying position and you've got everything retracted in, you're missing out on all that gorgeous color, the aesthetics of it. You're missing out on all the aesthetics of it, of everything being out and making that wing literally twice as wide as what it normally is in flight, because it looks superb. Wings sorted. Okay, as far as fuselage fit is concerned, it's 2 massive lugs that go in through the fuselage half, and they sit absolutely solidly. Now, what I did was I obviously put some Tamiya normal thick gluey cement on before I put them in, and I only put one on at a time so that I could concentrate on making sure that were right, that wing was correct. Once it was correct and the sort of it's not moving anywhere, obviously turned the bird upside down, got my pot of sprue go and gubbed some sprue go on, and now the wings are absolutely solid. Okay, the fit of wing to fuselage is a 9, but it can be a 10, but you've literally got to force it in. You've got to sit there then with it in your hand for half an hour, not doing anything, because the wing is that heavy. Obviously, if you let go, it's going to start pulling away from fuselage. So you've literally got to sit there like that for half an hour to make sure it's locked in tight. Okay. Let's do. Let's do. Go on, let's do engines. I was going to save this for a bit later on, but let's do engines. Engines are on page 1 of the book. No, they're not. They're on page 4. Stage 1. The engines, I'll put the instruction picture up, and you can see that it's right down at the bottom of your screen. It's the exhaust tips into sort of like a bit of a bend, into like your fans, into the main engine, which is made up of several parts, into your turbine fan at the front that's got attachments on it, blah, blah, blah. They go together dead easy, very, very simple. And the way that they're configured means that you can't put them on that way. Does that make sense? You can't put them on the wrong way. They only go on one way. If you're having engines not in, as in you're not going to build them and you're going to have all the doors closed, you can skip this part. If you're going to have built engines on trolleys or on pallets or whatever, on a hoist, you can absolutely go to town on weathering them and staining them and making them look, in your mind's eye, what you think that engine would look like after it's been up in air for 1,000 hours or however many hours it's flying before they bring it in and take it out and strip it down. basically what I'm talking about here is artistic license, isn't it? And the way that I've done mine is not necessarily the way that you will do yours or the way that he did his, etc., etc. It's just the way that I did them. So engines. It says I've got 14 pictures here at engines. So hopefully by this time I will have been sort of flicking through the pictures that I took. Okay. Bearing in mind now, I still haven't started the office on my build. I'm 40 minutes into this video. I'm about 3 weeks into the actual build and I still haven't built the seats. Okay. However, we're up to it. We're up to it now. I've got a tub full of bits. I've got wings. I've got pylons. I've got undercarriage, bombs, missiles, rudders. I've literally got everything apart from I've still got my sprue holder that's got the sprue full of office. So I have a couple of days off just to sort of like say, right, come on, let's get myself in right frame of mind. And off I go with the office. Before I start, link in the description for SGS Model Store based in Leeds, UK. I contacted SGS and said, have you got the Quinter set for this Trumpeter 1 in 32 tram item number blah blah blah? Yes, I have. In 2 days I've got it. And then you start on office. So big up to Sean for that. SGS Model Store. Section 4, you start with your seats, sides, front, back, that pipe down back, headrest, cushion, blah blah, all that sort of thing. Then you're into your photo etch to get some of that on. There's a few little bits, but then you're into your Quinter Studio pack. And for the seats, the Quinter Studio pack, I would have to give it an 8 out of 10. Why is that? Because Quinter is supposed to be the absolute dogs danglies. Is that dogs danglies? They're supposed to be the absolute dogs danglies on office upgrade sets. The reason that I'm only giving it an 8 is because even though I built them late on into the build, so they weren't hanging around in my bits bin getting knocked about, the bang handle at the top is so brittle and fragile that both of mine tore. That's the right word. They didn't rip, they didn't snap, cut, they tore. Probably through mishandling. Well, they're not just going to tear themselves, are they, while they're stuck over there? So through mishandling, they tore. But I was able to put a little dab of glue on and sort of like do that. Okay. The seats are very, very simple build, even with the Quinter set. And they do sit in the office very, very nicely. Okay. Underneath that, we're onto office, which is, you know, it's a dark gold grey. You get a massive area around the back that's like that sort of like half moon shape. There's a couple of attachments to put on there, some piping, etc. All looks outstanding. You get options for your instrument panel. And again, because I got the Quinter set, it's all about sanding it all flat, painting it in the right colour, looking at cutting out the decals, seeing where they go. Superb. I know for a fact I've got some photos of that. So, well, I should have 8 photos of the office. I think predominantly the photos that I have put up or I am putting up now are pictures of the finished piece. Okay. Right. Once I've done the office, let's have a quick flick through. I've done the weapons, the avionics bay, the engines, the nose, the arrestor hook, the radar, the undercarriage, air brakes, office, intakes, the doors, the wings, the divider, the ladder. I've done everything, and it's all in my bits bin. So now I can cut off the sides of the fuselage, page 8, offer that up. I can cut that out, both sides, attach the right and left speed brake bays, paint what I need to paint, and then start to put everything together. It all went together relatively well. And if I put a picture of page 9 up and leave it there, you can see the two fuselage sides with the office in one side. The front undercarriage is in, but you don't need to put that in, right? That can stay out. It does attach later on. Thank God for that. You've got your arrestor hook houser going in. You've got your rudder going in and the center spar going in. All that, page 8 and page 9, all goes in. As far as your air intakes, do I have to put those in now? No, you don't. What I will say is, if you're having, and again, this is where you have to start and think about what you're doing. The front of the beautiful engine configuration that you've done actually slips into the back of the air intake, and I'm sure I've got a picture of that. So if I have, ping, show you that. And hopefully you can see where that's joining. If you're having engines not made or not inside the aircraft at all, you can put your air intakes in now and you can glue them in. If you're having your engines in, look at me, I've got my eyes closed because I'm thinking. If you're having your engines in, what I would suggest to you is dry fit those two air intake housings, dry fit them. If you have to do a little bit of fettling to make sure that they're as good as you can get it, obviously fettle it. Don't just offer it up and say that'll do, crew. Fettle it if you need to. What I will say is that the fit is a 10 out of 10. Okay. So by this time, engines in, center seams in, and the two fuselage sides are together. Page 10 is wings. I've already done it. Page 11 is showing you to put the wings in. Again, you can if you want. It's not a drama. I didn't at this stage. Page 12 is showing you to put your engines in. No. It's showing you to put your undercarriage bay doors on. No. Leave them till last. You're a seasoned builder. You know what you're doing. Page 13, 14 wings. Page 15, you can almost see that your bird now is coming together. As far as the big antenna on the back is concerned, no. You put your wings on how you're having. If you're having them folded or out, that's your option. Page 16 actually shows the wings in the open position. Let me talk about that. In the closed position, they are absolutely fine. I know that those models put some extra support in there. Now, I'm not a builder / engineer, so I haven't got access to, I'll go and get some 5mm stainless steel bar and I'll get 3 lengths of it. I could send off for it. No, what I've got is I've got a kit that's in front of me and I have to absolutely make the best of what I've got in front of me. Okay. The wing that you're having, let's say if you're having wings out flying, what's the fit like? It's brilliant, absolutely superb. For me, I had no issue whatsoever. Where it joins the fuselage, even though I'd sat there going like that, like some kind of for half an hour, for safety and just for aesthetics, I did run a tiny little bead of filler in the joint. It didn't need it. It's me. Okay. If you're having wings folded, there is a different mechanism and there are different parts to fit. So you need to be really, really careful on what you're doing. Okay. It's easy to get them mixed up from experience, seasoned builder, and trying to put the female part where the male part goes on the other side of the wing, because that should be part 34, which turns out it was the female part that should have been part 33 on the starboard side. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, I'm not. Please pay attention. Please pay attention to what you're doing, because it's easy to go, what have I done? What have I done? And realize that you've got two male parts that are trying to marry up, whereas you should have obviously a female part. Dickhead. The only problem I had with the entire fuselage build was there's a center seam down the top, and boy oh boy did I pay for that, because it didn't take me 5 sessions, it took me 5 days to get that out. And we all know the procedure. You offer it up, and whether you glue it all at the same time and start pressing and lifting and that's your choice. Whether you put a little bit of glue here and I'll just sit here like that, like a, yeah, and I'll just hold that for 10 minutes, let go. Oh, that's good. But a little bit further down, it's protruding, it's sunken. I need to, yeah. And before you know it, you're up and down, left and right. I've been doing this for nearly 10 years, so I know how to put 2 seams together. However, that was the only stumbling block on this particular kit, that top seam. And I have got 5 photos of me sorting that out. Okay. I'm not going to say good luck. I'm going to say patience. Patience, really. Patience. Skill. Skill. It's not about skill. It's just about patience. It's about, are you going to dip dab it? Are you going to run a full length of glue down it? You tackle that on how you're going to do it, okay? Because you've built loads and loads of aircraft, I'm sure, and you know the best way for you. I've got 6 pictures of test fitting I've written there. I don't know what they are, but if I can dig them out, I'll throw you up 6 pictures now of test fitting. Okay. I ordered some RBF tags, remove before flight tags, from SGS Model Store again. Now, even though it's a 1 in 32 bird, I actually ordered the 1 in 48 RBF tags. And when I contacted Sean and I said, have you got any? I'm building this 1 in 32 tram. Have you got any 1 in 48 RBF tags? He's like, are you sure you've put that right, Mark? Yes, mate. 1 in 32, love. Yeah, but send me the 1 in 48 tags, though, cocker. Is that a spelling mistake, Mark? You're building a one, mate. Personally, for me, the 1 in 32 RBF tags on a 1 in 32 bird look massively out of scale, massively, which is why I go for a 1 in 48, and I have got some pictures. So because I've done all the sub-assemblies and everything is up to press, everything is okay, there's a little bit of work to do on inside at canopy. It's no drama. The undercarriage goes together piece of piece. No problem with that. Right speed brake, left speed brake, housings. There's a little bit of gubbins to go in there. What I will say is it does go in. Take your time. You can do it. It's not, you know, don't think, oh, if I do this now before I want to go and get my tea. Patience. It does all go in, and it goes in really, really nice as well. Undercarriage fitment to the actual model is 10 out of 10. Superb. I'm going to go through the book now and see if I've missed out. Wings all cracking. Yeah, no drama. Flaps and slats. Be careful on which configuration you want. Mistakes easily made there. outer air brakes on edge at wings, superb, no problem. All the little bits of mashings and gubbins, all the antennas and aerials and everything that goes on top, no problem. Nose open, piece, no problem. Wing open, some great detail in there. And again, I've definitely got some pictures of that because I was really proud of that. Really, really nice. The little radar at the front of under the nose that turns it from an A6-E to a tram, piece, no problem. Bombs and missiles, no problem. Ladders, no problem. You do get one on either side, but I only put one open. Like I said, I wanted to show the configuration of one open and one closed. For me, then it was all about literally working out the sequence. That's it. I can put the book down. For me, then, it was all about the sequence. And I think this is where the test fitting comes in saying, I've got all these doors underneath. I've got two beautiful engines and I've got undercarriage. So if I put undercarriage in now, am I going to be able to get that door in there conforming that way? Have I got to put the engine in? What about that front air intake? Can I take the exhaust off? Can I put the engine in without the exhaust on and then fit the exhaust? Loads and loads of, not head scratching because you work your way, but it is definitely about, there's like a 4 or 5 sequence procedure that you kind of work out yourself that you have to follow. Number one is air intakes. Get them in now and get that glued up. Then pop your engines in and clip them onto the little braces, one on the center stem, one on the side of the fuselage. Once they're in, pop your exhausts in. Once they're in, start to put all your doors in. I started at front and literally worked my way to the back. Once they're in, sit your undercarriage in. Your doors are already on, so that's not a problem. But as you know, with undercarriage, it's not just about the leg. You also get stems and rods and rams and braces. So again, a little bit of dry fitting. Make sure that it all marries up. Spot a glow and you're absolutely fine. Solid as a rock. As far as being a tail sitter is concerned, I put one of George's fishing weights in the just behind the radar in my build. It was a 43-gram ledger bomb, but it weren't like a bomb. It was flat, and it said 43G on it, so I know it was 43 gram, and it literally just went underneath the office and on top of the undercarriage housing, and it literally made to measure. So the model itself now weighs an absolute ton. And because I've got everything open on it, it's really, really difficult finding places to actually pick it up. This kit has got so much to offer in terms of things open and things that you want to do. You watch any of my previous videos, if it's in the box, it's going on, right? It's that simple, apart from 41 pieces of bombs and missiles, obviously. I can't see the point, personally, and I wouldn't, because it corresponds with money versus time. Excuse me. I can't see the point in buying an extensive kit like this and buttoning it all up and having empty pylons and wings and slats and flaps retracted so that it just looks like boring. If it's in the box, it's going on, and I'm going to absolutely lavish it with as much stuff as I possibly can to get me bang for buck, to get me money's worth. Okay. How long have I been going? Glasses on. I know it's a long video, 59 minutes. Thanks for staying with me so far. Let's rate the kit out of 10. It's not 10 because of that goddamn seam, but that might have just been me. It is. It's a 10. It's a 10. It's a 10 all day long. The detail in it, there's very few things in terms of sink marks, flash, all that sort of stuff that we all used to talk about even 12 months since we'd open the kit and go, okay, now sinkholes, flash, sinkholes, flash. There's none in this. None. It's perfect. The fit is perfect on every single aspect of it, apart from that top seam. But all the things that attach onto it, all perfect. And the amount of options that you get are just mind-blowing. The deeper and deeper, the more time that I invested into this particular kit, the more I just started going, God above, that's gorgeous. Building engines, and you take your photos and you put them online, or it's like, and you're looking at them and you think, okay, now they are absolutely mint. You put your wing configuration together with wing folding up, and you take a photo of that side shot with some RBF tags on it, and you think, bloody hell, that looks mint. And there's hardly any weathering on it. It just looks the absolute part. And bombs and missiles and canopy, and it's a massive canopy. And like I said, that Quinta Studio office, and you put that in and it just sets it apart, etc., etc. I can't unfortunately talk about the decal pack for the office because I didn't use it. Let's go to the chase because I've been having your attention for an hour. 10 out of 10 kit. Would I build it again? Bring me one in. If I see one again for under 100 quid, I will literally be beating people off with a shitty stick to make sure that I go and get it. It's superb. It brings a lot of enjoyment. It's a massive, massive piece. And with lots and lots of time and patience, you can absolutely crack it. It's no drama at all. None whatsoever. Okay. So I'm going to finish with my finished shots. I know I've kept you for a long, long time. I do apologise. And you've been inundated with chuffing adverts as well. But that's just how it is, I'm afraid. I have to watch them as well, you know. So I'm going to leave you with the finished shots. And we'll see. I am going to have a bit of a rest. I'm currently doing a commission for a chap. But I'll leave you with these, and then I'll chat later about what I'm going to do next. Okay. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Cheers.
Hello, your call cannot be taken at the moment, so please leave your message after the tone.